Okay, go ahead and begin. Thank you all for coming.
All right. The Board of Zoning Appeals for Kent County, Maryland is the 17th day of March in session. John Massey, Rob Davis, David Hill, and Ben Legault observing. Tom Yeager is serving as attorney for the board. Mark Carver is serving as staff. Beth Grieve is serving as clerk. As this is the first meeting of the year, we need to name a chairman.
Make a motion that John Massey serve as chairman for Appeals Board.
A second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay, the board has before it one application. 25809A Still Pond Neck Road, LLC, special exception, extension of approval. No correspondence has been received. The notice was published in the Kent County newspaper on March 13th, 2025. Beth, you want to read that notice in?
I think we're okay. I don't need to read it. Thank you. We've included it in the packet, so we're good.
Okay. The hearing will follow this procedure.
Mr. Chairman, just one thing we should put on the record, were neighboring property owners mailed and the property posted, those two things.
Yes, I got a few comments there. Oops. Sorry, I have a few comments that no correspondence was received and that the notice was posted in the Kent County News on March 13th, 2025. But the other question is about letters and when they were sent and the property was posted.
Correct.
Okay, I'll get you that information.
Okay.
Thank you.
As long as we have it before the hearing concludes, we're
Yes,
good.
absolutely.
Okay, the hearing will follow this procedure. Number one, the applicant will present their case, after which the board and anyone present may cross-examine them in regard to their testimony. Two, if the applicant shall have any witness to speak on their behalf, they will each testify, and the board and anyone present may cross-examine each witness in regard to their testimony. Three, anyone else present who wishes to testify on behalf of the applicant may do so and then be cross-examined. Protestants may then testify, after which each shall be cross-examined in regard to their testimony by the board and anyone present. The board at its discretion may call staff or another person deemed appropriate to testify, after which staff or the witness called may be cross-examined in regard to the testimony by the board and anyone present. After everyone has testified, then the applicant and protestants may each be allowed to present closing arguments. Will the applicant please come forward? Please remain standing, raise your right hand. Do you declare that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Ted Hastings. I'm a senior associate with Becker Morgan Group out of Salisbury, Maryland, just at 312 West Main Street.
And I'm Seth Schaefer with Pivot Energy, 1601 Wewata Street, Suite 700, Denver, Colorado, 80202.
Can you spell your last name, please?
Sure, shortest way to spell Schaefer, S-H-A-F-E-R.
S-H, no C.
No C.
S-H-A-F-E-R.
Yep,
And Pivot Energy.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, what can we do for you, gentlemen?
We are asking for extension of the special exception that was previously approved. This project is on the 1-inch line. We're ready to get this thing built, but in the interim, while we're trying to get the interconnection agreements with Delmarva Power, getting bonds squared away, getting the contractors lined up, unfortunately, the special exception had expired, and now we're here to re-up it so we can go ahead and get this thing built.
No players have changed, same companies, same owners, same...
That's correct. Everything is the same as it was when it was approved. We're just trying to get this thing built at this point.
What's your
We'll
word?
own and operate it too,
Yes.
as far as ownership goes. It won't change ownership.
Okay. How long should it take? Will 1 year be enough for...
Yeah, once it gets under construction, I think we have met the obligation of the
Well,
special
once you
exception.
make your major construction, yeah.
Yeah, that, when do you?
Yeah, we've applied for our building permit. We just have some outstanding items with the site plan. The landscaping and decommissioning bond, just had some comments we wanted to go over with Mr. Yeager relative to it. We have another erosion sediment control. The cost estimate's been approved, but we do need to post either a letter of credit or bond for that. We've submitted for a building permit, so that's in process. And then we have one deed to record, and that's really it, forest conservation deed. So those are kind of just our remaining items.
Okay, because this will be the second extension. And we had your extension last time for 18 months instead of 1 year.
Right, that is understood. Unfortunately, there was a couple things that we had to square away, and certain things do take time. Delmarva Power, getting that interconnection agreement is always seems the longest lead time on that one. That always seems to jam us up. Also, getting a contractor that's qualified in line takes a little while and get them signed, which we do have a contractor on board now, and ready to start construction anytime once we get these last couple items squared away.
Okay. All right.
Do you have majority of people signed up for it? I mean, what's your capacity?
Yeah, we do have subscribers started and pretty much done, but yeah, we're not completely 100% yet with DPL and subscriptions, but we will be. It's a pretty small, this particular project's obviously your 1 megawatt max, and then we actually, part of what the delay was, we reduced the size of it because of the interconnection. So it's a little under 600 kilowatts.
So has the permit process just been hard to get people to do the project for you, or just, what's been the biggest holdup of 18 months?
It's really been Delmarva has been our biggest holdup. Yeah, it's not necessarily anything with the county. We had good experience working with the planning group and everything, so no.
So is Delmarva just not wanting that, or is it because
Well,
the
they had
state keeps
like,
changing?
I think I'm on my 3rd project manager with Delmarva, so that was part of it. Like, they just had a lot of internal turnover.
Right.
The main gentleman I work with on the construction side is actually a third-party contractor. Like, I don't work directly with DPL on the construction side. So they're a little bit like hands-off also. So it's just really just trying to, and also in fairness to them, they have a lot of applications, obviously. I mean, you guys are seeing lots of projects and
Right.
just the shore in general, so in fairness to them, it's quite a backlog, I'm sure, of applications too.
Not enough qualified construction crews to do what you need to do.
Right.
Yeah, this is not uncommon with Delmarva lead time at all. I do a lot of these across Delaware and Maryland. And with Delmarva Power, there is a significant lead time, so this is not uncommon. We're probably not going to be the last time you'll see another person come up here asking for extension because of that.
Anything else? Nope. No questions? Do you have any other witnesses to testify on your behalf?
Yes, sir.
Is there anyone online to testify for the? Doesn't look like anybody's online. Anyone want to testify against this project? I think we have someone here. Gentlemen, if you can step back.
Yeah, sure.
Sir. Stand, raise. Do you declare that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Can you please state your name and address?
Andrew T. Simmons, adjoining property owner.
Last name again, sir?
Simmons,
Simmons, okay. thank you.
S-I-M-M-O-N-S,
Okay.
13460 Still Pond Road.
Okay, sir, how can we?
Well, I don't really have anything to add to the last 4 meetings that we met and commented about the project. Primarily, a general objection to the use of prime ag land for these projects would be the top on the list. And then we're the prime candidate for the reflection, so we're very, concerned about that and the the berming or planting or whatever they're going to do. But that we talked about before. I do have some additional information that may be of a little bit of interest, just out of ramifications, I guess. January the 8th, we received a letter from a Western Land Services as the adjoining property owner for the request for a utility easement on our property. And long and short of it is, they need an easement to run the underground line across the road because the power lines on the property, the phone lines on their side or on the side of the project, and we're on our side is the power line on that side. So they need to bore under the road and come up on our side and connect to a pole on our side. So in order to do that, the power company has requested a deed restriction easement from us to do that. So the initial application that they sent was way too broad for me. In here, it basically, Delmarva shall have the right to install, operate, maintain, add, extend, relocate, remove electric or communication, and other appropriate facilities and accessories and appurtenances thereto, and extend Delmarva systems. It goes on under across the grantor's land, which may become necessary to provide these services. So it was way too broad. So I didn't have any choice but to talk to a real estate lawyer. I talked to our lawyer we have, and he said, well, that wasn't in his wheelhouse. You should talk to a real estate lawyer. So we did that, and he agreed with that. And since that time, the Western Land Services folks, the lady that sent the original letter and all the original information, has called a couple times and asked if I had any questions, and I explained to her. And they just literally today, my son got the mail, and that original letter came in on January the 8th. And then we were waiting for updated information because it also, the original letter said that they wanted to put a pole in the middle of our front yard to attach this to. And there's poles existing there now, so I'm kind of like, okay, why do we need another pole? So we wanted more, long and the short, we wanted more information of what exactly is this going to look like. Is this going to be a 80-foot pole with a big box on it? We didn't have the information to know. And literally today, we've gotten information that shows, because the original deed sounded like the restriction would be for the entire property, and it's a 120-acre farm. Well, I'm not going to do that. So this information came just literally hot off the press today, and my son emailed it to me. They're now talking about a 20 by 20 area, and it doesn't really, it looks like it might go to an existing pole, but I can't tell for sure. And again, I just saw this like last half hour, and he sent it to me, and it shows a picture of what it's going to look like going up the side of the pole. So we have more information, but we don't have an updated easement document to look at to see what we potentially would be signing. And then once we get that, we're going to have to present that to our real estate lawyer and say, hey, I don't want to wake up Sunday morning to see high tension lines going across my property kind of thing. So, or whatever else. So, and at this late hour, 4 years in, I guess 3 years in, however, 4 meetings in, excuse me, to get that on January 8th, I was kind of surprised. So, but that's where we are. General objections haven't changed, but we just have to deal with this. Right. So, and I have no idea how long that could take. You may be able to speak to that. I don't know.
Not sure. I mean, there are multiple.
Any compensation?
It said in the original one, hold on a second, I gotta get to the original one. It said, somewhere it did say that. It said, you will notice that the consideration is listed as, quote unquote, in the sum of $1. I don't know.
I mean,
I can tell you that the retention for the lawyer is $1,500, so.
yeah, I mean, I think they're treating it as if this was an easement to bring electric power to your house. I mean, there are all sorts of easements out there that generally don't affect the value of the property if they're bringing electric to you. That's not this type of easement. This is more of an easement for some type of transmission line for things that affects other property. So it seems to me this is the type of easement that typically compensation would be paid for. That's just my thought, but
My
what
concern-
happens if they're a public utility? I guess you can say, no, I'm not going to give you the easement. It would be interesting to see what legal action they take if you can't come up with an agreement with them, but
I was going to say, because we can't make a decision that forces his hand.
that's correct. I mean, that's, whether they give an easement or not, that's kind of independent of this. Now, if that easement is required for the applicant to build, and they come back a year from now and they can't build because they don't have easements, they don't have the way to generate the power, then it's kind of relevant to you. But really, them getting, Delmarva Power getting the easements, that's their issue, not yours.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
But is it?
Well, I
You
Because I
can't make,
assume it
you
would
can't
be a
make anybody
transformer
grant an
box.
easement or
Right,
accept an
I didn't
easement.
think we could do that.
Right. I think what you do is you evaluate the request as to whether or not it's reasonable, it's within your discretion. You did note this is the second request, so these can't stay open forever, but the applicant has presented evidence that they're moving forward. So you would evaluate that and determine whether or not it's appropriate, and if they can't get it done within the time of the request, when they come back the next time, you'll probably have some more questions for them to see if this thing really is ever going to get built.
Did we get an updated site plan?
I think they're working on it. I assume, right? Site plan's being worked
The site plan has
on.
not changed.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't show you going across the road on the current site plan.
It's Jackie Ward underneath the road because that's the county policy.
Tom, if
Just
we
tells you to-
do one more exception, can we say that's it?
Extension.
Or
Extension.
Sorry.
What I would suggest to you is you can advise the applicant that you would not be inclined to grant a further exception. Or, I said exception. Extension, you're granting an extension of the exception, an extension. But, and I say that I don't think you can make a blanket statement that no more will be given, because if they come back, you have to evaluate that request on the merits. Obviously, when you get to your third one, my opinion is that the applicant's going to need a compelling reason for you to grant an additional extension. So you certainly can advise the applicant that if they come back a year from now, you may not be inclined to grant a further extension. But I would not recommend you just say something blanket and rule it out completely, because I think you have to evaluate every request on its own merits.
Right.
That's all I have. I just wanted to bring that to your attention, so you knew that was going on.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else in the audience or online that would like to testify? How about staff? Staff like to testify? You declare that the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Please state your name.
My name is Mark Carper, an associate planner with the county.
Okay, Mark, what do you have on this?
Beg your pardon?
What do we have on this from the staff side?
Well, as they mentioned, they are seeking a second extension of this special exception. The first one was granted because of the connection with Delmarva, and they had to resize. They submitted revised site plan with a reduced amount of solar panels to meet the megawatts or the amount of wattage they can put into the system without very costly upgrades to the system itself for receiving their output. So that delayed it the first time. You granted the extension. Since that particular date, they've been working primarily on, as Mr. Hastings said, dotting I's and crossing T's. So looking at the sureties, the bonds, the language and such, those are the primary difficulties at this particular stage. As you mentioned, they also submitted a building permit, so they are ready for construction. We've received communications from the contractor asking about this process, where we are in it. So I do believe that they are ready to break ground and begin construction as soon as these final points are completed. In regards to cost estimate for erosion sediment control, that has been approved, and we're just seeking the instrument for that surety. The draft performance completion bond for landscaping and decommissioning have been submitted, and those are still under review. There's been a discussion with Mr. Yeager. The deed of forest conservation agreement has been approved, and we're just waiting for it to be recorded and become part of the record. So those are the final components to it, and for that reason, we do recommend granting an extension of this special exception.
Okay, thank you. Would anyone else like to testify? Anyone online or in the audience? All right, I'm going to bring it up here for us. What do you think, gentlemen?
Well, we're only here to grant the extension of the special exception.
Right.
And that's what's in front of us, so I don't see any problem with that. But if it comes back a third time, then we need to discuss why. But that probably won't happen. I'm guessing for their sake. I doubt they want to come back for the third time.
Hopefully, you'll be able
Yeah.
to work everything out and have major construction within.
3 months.
Yeah.
Right, it sounds like you're very close. It's just, the wheels are slowing down.
We're right on the 1 foot line. These 3 documents will get through, we're ready to break ground.
I'm curious, the right of way, like, is that gonna, if that doesn't get sorted out, does that stop the whole project?
Not really our.
We don't know. I
It's
think
not
they-
our discussion. That's the
Discussion, I
problem.
realize that.
The question is it feasible to run lines someplace else?
Yeah.
But that's not for us. If that holds the project up and they have to come back within a year, then you would consider the reasons for the delay when you make your decision. But right now, that's just speculative whether or not they have to get a right-of-way and whether that right-of-way holds them up.
Tom, do you have anything else you'd like to add, or?
I don't. Again, under the ordinance, it's within your discretion. They have to show, cause, a reason for granting it, and it's in your discretion as to whether or not you wish to grant the extension or not.
Need a motion?
If you're ready.
I move that we make the motion to approve the additional extension of a special exception to construct and operate a utility-scale solar energy system in the AZD district at the property located at 26001 Still Pond Neck Road on the 85-acre farm owned by Raymond and Joyce Stofus, and we extend it for 1 year, based on what we previously discussed at other meetings.
You want to second that?
A second.
Okay, my motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? You have been granted your extension. I hope you can hear.
You're right. I hope your ear makes
But I
it.
hope you can, hope your ears are clean and clear.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to read into the record, I'd like to thank Mrs. Gerber for bringing this information to me. The property was posted on February 14th, 2025, and letters were sent to the adjacent property owners on February 14th, 2025. And as the clerk previously advised, notice of the hearing was published in the Kent County News on March 13th, 2025.
Dotted the i's, crossed the t's. All right, the minutes.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes from November
18th, 2020.
18th, 2025.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Any staff reports? Anything? Carl? Yeah, take your time.
So
So I'm just going to say, you're not going to have a meeting next month. We don't have an application to come before you for that. We probably will the next month. So in general, this board meets about 6 times a year on average. So it's roughly every other month, but it depends on volume. And I believe Mr. Harper has some things he wants to say.
Yes, it's been a great pleasure working, well, I guess the two of you, the other two are new, and Mr. Yeager as well. This is my last week with the county.
Oh,
Yeah.
again?
Yeah. So, the reason behind the move is to be close to family, so there's a solid reason for it, so. It's been a real learning experience. I feel like I've developed a lot professionally, maybe even personally as well, through the the mentoring and tutelage of the director and deputy director. That's my report. Thank you.
Well, we wish you luck.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I've been a Board of Appeals member since I think it was 2016, and I thank you for all your hard work,
You're welcome. Thank you.
and I wish you luck also.
Thank you. Thank you.
You'll be missed.
And I'd like to thank you too, because I've worked with you with Planning Commission and just with general county planning matters, and you've always been very accessible and knowledgeable and great to work with. So I'm sorry to see you go, but I understand, family reasons, but hope things work out
Thank
well
you.
for you, but you'll be missed here.
I'm glad all these accolades are being recorded and broadcast to the public.
Yes.
I'll view YouTube frequently when I'm feeling down, and so I say, oh, yeah, did that well. Thanks.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Mark.
Motion to adjourn.
Rob, you want to?
Second.
All in favor, stand up and leave.
Aye.